Welcome to everyone who is joining us today. My name is Diane Jordan. I have the privilege of having been at MIT Sloan and on the admissions team for a little over 11 years now. I'm excited to talk to you today about our 1-year or 12-month Sloan Fellows MBA program. We have some great things to share with you about the program overall, the curriculum. We'll talk a little bit about some of the admissions. We actually have the applications for 2026 are live now. So first and foremost, I want to share with you something that's really an important part of everything we do here at MIT Sloan, and that has to do with our mission. And really has to do with the students who come to study at MIT Sloan, because we are looking for individuals who will adhere to this mission, who want to be part of it, who want to become and develop themselves as principled, innovative leaders, improving the world, generating ideas that advance management practice. And this is something that really runs throughout everything we do at MIT Sloan, and not only just in terms of, you'll see, if you've been to our campus, we actually have a great staircase and wall that shows the mission statement, but it's also part of what we really encourage students to focus on in addition to their studies and whatever careers they're pursuing. So let's dive into a little bit more around the program itself. As I mentioned, it is 1 year. I can tell you from, again, more than 11 years being here at MIT, that it goes by very quickly. And so coming in with a framework or an outline of what you hope to get from your time in the program, it is flexible enough and customizable that you can gear it towards, how do I build on the skills that I currently have in my role? How do I continue to build on those, deepen those skills, add some skills? Coming in, though, with that outline or framework doesn't mean you need to know down to the last course or credit unit what you're going to be taking, but at least have a sense that at the end of the day, here's what I hope to say. I've just created some or upskilled in certain areas that are going to help me, again, move even further, whether that's because you want to stay with your current organization, move into the C-suite, or maybe you're already there, launch a new initiative or startup, whatever it might be. It's important to come in with some sense of what do you want to get from the time that you're in the program. I also mentioned a moment ago that there are 3 degree options as part of this program. So the MBA, or with a thesis, you can also earn an MS in management or an MS in management of technology. These are the kinds of things you don't have to decide right away. You will have conversations with academic advisors who are going in the program, who will help you to sort of navigate what makes the most sense. A couple of examples where, individuals who are perhaps pivoting to a different industry or field, maybe even want to launch a startup, don't have that deeper skill set and want to do a thesis to demonstrate, whether that's to potential investors or to another organization where they've built those skills. That's an opportunity to do that, especially if you do decide to go with the thesis. Focus is on the science of management, data-driven decisions. It is MIT after all, so there is a lot of focus and emphasis on that. There's a global community. We have 40 plus countries represented, and access to resources are across MIT, not restricted solely to MIT Sloan. Flexible and customizable curriculum and principles of innovation and entrepreneurship are in everything we do. So let's go and dive deeper into the curriculum. And some of what I'm a lot of actually what I'm covering today, you can find on our website as well. So I encourage you to continue to do the research, learn more. We also have great student and alumni testimonials who highlight their own experiences. You might find someone who is like-minded, coming from the same background or experience as yourself before enrolling in the program. And that can be extremely helpful in deciding, is this the right program for me at this particular juncture in my career? So starting in your first semester, students are grouped into smaller teams with a variety of diverse backgrounds and perspectives. It's really more to just get you acclimated. And oh, by the way, this is because I did recall that there were some questions about this in the advanced ones that came through. Thank you to everyone who did that. The program is fully residential. So the expectation is you are not working full-time, you are engaged fully in learning the additional skills and the courses that you're going to be taking to really, again, sort of advance your careers. And then it does start in June. So that is another aspect of the program. There's some orientation aspects that are virtual in April as well. But the program starts 100% residential in June. So peers solve challenges together. There's a strong support system throughout the Sloan Fellows MBA experience and beyond. We're going to establish the foundation with you. So there's a lot of work done around 360 leadership, assessing where you are before you come in as you move along in the sequence of courses and events and activities, executive coaching sessions. Again, when you think about the students that are enrolling in this program, they have a minimum of 10 years of full-time work experience post a bachelor's degree. So they're bringing a lot to the table. And so we want to be able to address where you are in your careers. And then research opportunities, again, the thesis, or you could do an independent study, which is optional. So I mentioned flexible career path. It does, or path, sorry, does begin with orientation. There is a virtual sessions in April, and then in June, you actually start the program. There is a lot around classroom culture and communication. We have students coming from all over the globe. As you might have noticed from the video, they're coming from many different parts of the world. And so we are really working to help our students identify and acclimate to the culture and how they communicate. Housing, administrative items are also covered during the start of the program. There's some academic prep. Let's face it, for many of our Sloan Fellows MBA students, while many of them do come with advanced degrees, the reality is they may have been away from the classroom for a number of years. And so there's a little bit of catch up. And having to do that, we're going to help you with it. And then, as I mentioned, 360 leadership to assess where you are in that spectrum. And then the summer, as I said, starts in June. There are some core courses. There are no electives in the summer. There is intensive teamwork, leadership development, 360 assessment, and executive coaching. There's also our career development office, or CDO, as we refer to them, have dedicated advisors who work with our Sloan Fellows MBA students. Again, it's sort of, let's map out, what are you hoping to get, not only from the academic standpoint, but how is that going to help you to either pivot or continue in the field or area that you're most interested in. And then building a learning community. So all of those things are part of the summer term. And then you'll come back, there's a short break, you'll come back in the fall, in September. That's a mix of your core courses as well as some electives. There's a lot of interaction with senior executives and entrepreneurs hosted through the Sloan Fellows MBA program and other ways throughout activities that happen from the dean's office, conferences, seminars. If you're part of and decide that you do want to be more involved in entrepreneurship, we have the Martin Trust Center for Entrepreneurship. We have a lot of accelerator programs that are available, Delta V, the Sandbox, so many ways for you to engage in that side as well. And then action learning is something that is a highlight and makes our program unique. And it actually is something that we promote across all programs and that students take part in, particularly during the month of January. There are no, and you'll see this in a minute, but there are no classes throughout MIT. So that we call it the independent activities period. This is really where you're part of a student project team working with a company sponsor, tackling a high impact challenge that they may have. And there are so many of them, too numerous to name here, but you can definitely find more information under Action Learning on our website. Again, encourage you to take a look at those opportunities, but it's taking what you've learned in the classroom and putting it into practical terms. And then there's some optional coursework, executive electives, negotiations, seminars, international experiences, and thesis research. And then everyone comes back for the spring term, February through May. Again, more core and some electives, additional opportunities to interact with executives and entrepreneurs, more action learning, and some design thesis as well if you're doing that, and then graduation in May. So it does really go by very quickly. And so I can overemphasize how important it is to come in with an outline or a framework for what you hope to gain as a result of your time in the program. But it can truly be transformative. So just a sampling, I'm not going to go through each one. I will point out that for Sloan Fellows MBAs, they have the opportunity, unique opportunity and sole opportunity to take advantage of a strategic leadership communications course. But there's so many courses here where you can build on, again, areas that you may not have any background in or skills, or, especially if you are looking to pivot. But it is definitely something that our Sloan Fellow MBAs take full advantage of. You really just have to be very aware, and for many of our Sloan Fellows MBAs, because they come in with all this prior work experience, they have an understanding of what it takes to make things happen and how you can best advance by being organized. Your time management skills are going to be tested to the nth degree. So again, coming in with all of those skills and applying them is really going to help you to get the most from the program and the experience. So customization, we talked a lot about this, but there are certificates that allow students to focus on a specific area of interest. So again, if you are coming in because you want to deepen your skills in perhaps finance or sustainability or product management, you can do that through pursuing a certificate while you're also taking courses for the degree itself. In addition, there's the action learning that I mentioned. You really apply what you've learned in the classroom to real business challenges. You can work with a host organization. Some of these are domestic, but there are others that are global as well. A lot of it's done virtually, but it depends on the sponsor. Projects may range from scaling ventures to discovering market opportunities. There's also additional resources. I mean, that's the one thing that's really amazing when you come to MIT. Yes, you're here at MIT Sloan, but you have access not only to MIT, the Institute, and many of the other schools and learning areas around MIT, but you can also cross-register at Harvard's professional schools. So there's a lot of ways for you to get the knowledge and information that you need to, again, sort of really continue to build on your careers. So the community, as I mentioned, research centers, industry, access to executive elective courses that are offered exclusively to MIT Sloan Fellows MBAs and executive MBA students and alumni, and then the Career Development Office or CDO with the career advisors are really valuable for our students. And community, again, a big part of everything that is done. Just to give you a sense of the makeup and the composition over the years, our Sloan Fellows MBAs really do come from all over the globe. And it's really amazing because they're coming perhaps for different reasons, but they're all together learning and finding out, something maybe unusual or different about another culture that they didn't know about before. So you're, again, expanding your network. And this is very important, as I'm sure I don't have to tell all of you, in terms of your careers and your goals and whatever you're going to be doing next. We do recognize that for many of our Sloan Fellows MBAs, they're already pretty well established. And so they may also in their personal lives be coming with significant others and even children. And so we call them SOs or significant others. They're an integral part of the experience. They participate in clubs, community events throughout the year. We really want them to feel welcome and as much a part of the community as possible. It's really a very close-knit support system. And there are educational career resources to make the most of their time in Cambridge. Then students also organize professional conferences, competitions, hackathons throughout the year. This is just a small sampling, but we've got the 100K competition, the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference, which has become massive over the years. It used to be this very small, sort of mostly MIT, some Harvard folks who are involved, and now it has grown. It's really hard to get tickets. So if you're a student, you might have a little bit of an advantage. But it's a great conference if that's an area that you're interested in. We have the investment conference for those folks who are pursuing more around finance, as well as FinTech conference. We do have centers that are focused specifically on different areas that may be of interest. And the Delta V Accelerator, which again is a big part of what we offer through all of our programs and the Martin Trust Center for Entrepreneurship. just another kind of overarching pieces, unique aspects that I think are important to point out when you come to the program and you come to MIT. So there's this huge ecosystem that I've just talked a little bit about. We have 500 plus MIT clubs alone, including over 85 entrepreneurship resources, grants, and competitions. We have world-class research. It's MIT after all. We are a research center. We are never in static mode. It is always fluid. There is always something new being developed. And of course, everybody is talking about AI today. It has been incorporated across our programs at MIT Sloan in many courses as well as electives. I've talked about the Martin Trust Center. You have access to that. The Energy Initiative, the Media Lab. I mean, these are some key parts of this ecosystem. And I'll go back and say what I said earlier. These are all great, and many of our students come in, they're excited, which we're great. We were so grateful to see their excitement in coming to campus, but it's really important to also keep in mind and stay focused because that year goes by very quickly. So you really have to sort of sort out where are the areas that I need to really focus on? What do I have as extra? What do I need to put in to actually fulfill the requirements of the degree in terms of my courses and grades? So there's a lot going on, but you have help. There are resources through the academic advisors, our career advisors, fellow students, faculty. I have found personally, and this is anecdotal on my part, our faculty are really very approachable and they want to help students. So that's a big part of the experience as well. And there are currently 80 plus student-led clubs active on campus. Memberships range from 12 to 400 plus, and they cover many different areas as you might expect. The committees for that are Sloan Fellows MBA specific. We have fellows volunteer to organize co-curricular activities that enhance the experience. They include career, community and culture, Muddy Talks, speaker series, women's committee. And there's a New York City module. There's a DC module. There's, of course, the April orientation. So we're going to start talking to you once you are admitted and you accept our offer for admission to the program. Things will start kicking in before you even arrive on campus in June. So in April, there are going to be activities that are, as I said, mostly virtual, where you'll have an opportunity to sort of lay out what your plan is, your outline, talk about that, figure out what's going to make the most sense for you. And career, again, it goes without saying, we understand that for our Sloan Fellows MBA students who are coming in with a minimum of 10 years experience and management experience, that you're at a different level. There's a very specific and unique aspect to how you're going to receive those career resources. So it's executive career coaching. We have a very diverse team of coaches available. They can meet with you one-on-one. They'll help you to identify your strengths, develop your visions. You can choose to work with one coach consistently, or maybe even meet with various coaches for different insights. We have Sloan industry advisors. Our alumni experts are across more than 17 industries, and they really are ready and willing and able to provide guidance and industry-specific advice to students. And then appointments can be scheduled to discuss career steps with an alumni advisor in your field of interest. Finding your path. We have Sloan Fellows MBAs who want to stay and are not necessarily in their field or functional area and are not necessarily looking to make any sort of a pivot. So they just want to deepen their skills that maybe will launch them even more into the executive suite of a particular organization or moving to another one, or launching their own startup. And so for those individuals, again, the type of coaching and what you're going to be looking for will be slightly different. So there's curated content, tools, and frameworks for self-reflection, modules that help you as part of what would be an executive coaching toolkit. So these are all customized to help you advance, switch, or launch your next steps. And career, we like to say this, our CDO very much is a proponent of career is everywhere. And so I've really talked a lot about these, but again, it's the CDO itself and the advising that they provide, the academics, what you're learning through the coursework, IAP, and any of the action learning projects, the clubs. There are so many clubs. I think we're now probably over 75 plus clubs that you can engage in, conferences, competitions, the community at large. Again, this all comes back to career, but also the network that you build. And so we also talk a lot about the MIT Nation. So yes, you're at MIT Sloan as a Sloan Fellows MBA. That being said, though, you have this wider ecosystem and nation of alums that you have access to. And the impact is really incredible when you think about the numbers of active companies that are graduates overall at MIT are involved in, the numbers of jobs that they've created over the years, and the total annual revenue that that represents. So it really is pretty amazing. And we have these clubs, as you might imagine, all over the globe that you can stay connected with us through. I will touch briefly, as I mentioned, on the application. We do have an application tips webinar. It's in the chat. Please take some time to listen to it. It's very informative. It will give you a lot more detail on what you should be, some tips on what you should be thinking about. The bottom line is we want you to be yourselves. We are here to help and support you in admissions. We want you to succeed. We do have a lot of information in the application that we request. A lot of components, but should not be as a surprise. Transcripts, the resume, cover letter, an org chart. There's two video questions, or one is a video statement where you're basically introducing yourself to your future classmates. And then there's a second randomized this video question 2. It's randomly generated. There's no advanced prep needed. It's not a technical question. Letter of recommendation, 2 additional references, GMAT or EA test scores are all optional. That being said, though, if you already have them, you may be applying to other schools that require them. If you already have them, submit them. It's another data point. However, there's no negative inference if you do not. And then we will be asking about relevant coursework and any certifications, professional certifications you may have. There are some professional questions on general management experience and your goals, and then a short answer question on the world that shaped you. We just want to learn as much as we can about you and what you're expecting as part of coming to the program, but also how you plan to engage and contribute to our community. That is another important aspect of what we're looking for. So there are 2 rounds. The first round is actually not that far away in the scheme of things, October 20th. If you are an international student, we encourage you to apply in that first round, especially as we've all experienced this year challenges or delays in getting visas processed. We've been really fortunate that our Sloan Fellows MBAs this year have arrived safely, and we're excited that they've started the program. But it doesn't hurt to err on the cautious side. If you can, get your application in by the first round. But again, if it makes more sense for a variety of reasons to submit in round 2, that's perfectly acceptable as well. Once you've submitted your application, and if you are advancing in the admission process, you will be invited to interview. They are required, and they are conducted by the admissions committee. You may be asked to answer some short answer questions, but all that information will be available once the application, you get to that point in the admissions process. And again, the application is live, so you have an opportunity now to take a look at it. And if you have questions, we have a general Sloan Fellows MBA admissions email that I'm sure we'll share. We'll put in the chat. It's here. It's on our website. We are obviously definitely want to answer any questions you might have. And then this is just a quick snapshot of the class of 2025. So the class that just graduated. We have not released yet the profile for the incoming or the class that just started. We will soon. But this class is 103 students. We typically in any given year are looking for anywhere between that number and even up to 120 students. In any given year. As you can see, they are really varied in terms of their backgrounds and industries that they're coming from. We have 37% who identify as women, female. We would love to see that number go up a little more too. Average years of work experience, 15 years. So that is significant when you think about what we're talking and the types of students that you're going to be in classrooms with and sharing and having those conversations about experiences. So a lot here to take a look at, but this is a snapshot just to give you a sense of the class profile. There is more information again on the website and some highlights of current students and alums.